Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a bit of time since I last made a 3D video. So today I'm going to be exploring Twinmotion. I've basically been using this software for the past probably about a year and a half to produce renders for clients. It's a free piece of software. It's really good, it's really fast, and I'm just going to show you kind of the basics of it. I'm going to show you how to import, apply materials, but yeah, it's a free program, so it means you can just get on using it straight away, and I recommend having a play with it. But first off, I'm going to just basically import this model. So this is my SketchUp model. This is actually from quite an old project actually. We were designing an outdoor office, and so these were looking at different like configurations, different cladding styles. Actually ended up settling on this. This was just kind of a bespoke one for a garden, and I think it got made, but I can't actually remember. So but that was a cool little project. But what I think I'll do, I think I will actually just take this one. So I'm going to clean up this model, get rid of all the excess stuff. I'm going to use this as my kind of base for my Twinmotion model, and I'm going to import it in. I'm going to show you how to do all that, and then we can go from there in the Twinmotion software. So I'm going to jump into it now. Twinmotion actually runs through the Epic Games launcher. So I'll put the links down below if you want to find the links to this bit of software. So I'm currently using the Twinmotion 2024 version, and basically you can use it commercially, I believe. If you have your turnover for your business is less than $1 million, I believe, in a year. So that means a lot of small companies can actually use Twinmotion, and I think it's a really good shout by them, because it means that, you know, smaller scale designers and creators will use the program, and then, you know, if they become big corporations, they'll probably pay for the licensing. So yeah, I'm going to launch this now. So basically, yeah, you'll have it in your Epic Games library. If you guys use Epic Games, you probably know exactly what this is. I don't really use it apart from Twinmotion. So basically, I'll launch this, and then I'll import my model, and we'll go from there. So when you launch your Twinmotion, you'll see a kind of like menu page like this. Here we can create a new scene in the top left. You'll also have like your existing scenes that you have worked on previously, and a load of examples. So they're quite community-based Twinmotion. So yeah, if you click on any of these links, it will take you to a web page talking about this project. So like, for example, this house project, an interior, some product for visuals. So yeah, it's quite a community-based program. It's worth checking them out. I'm just going to click new scene, and we'll get our base. So this is kind of like the starting base when you enter Twinmotion. You'll probably get a pop-up asking you about how you want to navigate Twinmotion. So what this is basically how you want to control within Twinmotion. So like how you want to use your mouse and keyboard. And what's clever is they've just basically taken, common 3D programs, and you can select that. So my navigation is set up like SketchUp. So when I, click on my mouse wheel, I'll orbit just like SketchUp. So it means that it's quite easy to use. Now I'll just go over the menus very briefly, but I'll just show you a few more examples as I get through the kind of build. On the left, you've got your library. You can actually close this library down here. You probably can't see it because my head's in the way, but down here, you can close it. I'm not going to do that because I just did that a second ago and it basically crashed my recording software, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, here are all kind of like your materials library, all your assets, really useful. And if it is hidden, yeah, you just click on this library thing. Down here, we've got kind of like, again, these are like libraries of stuff. So that was a bit laggy then. This will be where all your materials will be kept. We'll get onto this a bit later, import media and whatnot. And then on the right, we've got a kind of like a scene tree, which is similar to, I don't know, I guess layers in Photoshop essentially. You can turn layers off and on. So I can turn off, the whole environment. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. Up here, we've got the kind of controls. This is going to be like your rotate, your scale, your move, which is quite good in Twinmotion. It's not the best, but it is quite good. And I can zoom in and pan with my scrolling wheel. And then this is path tracer. So this is if you've got like a hefty graphics card, you can turn this on. It just gives you like way nicer renders. My laptop, I can't remember if I do it or not. I can't remember. I'll see later on. This is going to be replace material. So when you drag a material on, you can choose to replace all of that material that exists. I'll show you a bit I'll show you that in a sec as well actually. And here we've got standard views, which I don't really use. Paint dropper, you know, it's very simple 3D software. I recommend just having a play with it. It'll be pretty straightforward and yeah, very easy to use. But next I'm just gonna click on my import and I'm gonna import my model and I'll show you from there. So I've just clicked import on my model and the file is there. I'm just gonna click the options here. I will just leave them as they are. Keep hierarchy, that's all fine. Import, see what happens. And what you can do is you can, you know, update your SketchUp model and then you can update it within here. So like this tab here. So where we've got this import bit down here, this is this menu. And then if you click this little refresh icon, if you make any changes on your SketchUp model and save them, you can then refresh it and it will, you know, update it here. So here we have my little model. You can see it's annoyingly not snapped to the ground because we've got this like stupid podium. I don't know why the kind of like standard thing is to have this podium. Well, they call it a pedestal. So I tend to just like get rid of that. And then we've got this weird cylinder thing, but I can just hide all of that. I don't really need it. I mean, you could delete it. I probably should delete it to be honest. And then my geometry, so the one I just imported is here on the right. So you can see it. Yeah, and then within that, it's got all of my groups and my layers. So all the groups within that SketchUp model have just been imported. And then, yeah, you can do, you know, we can turn them on and off individually. We can move them, we can adjust them. Yeah. So what it will do, it will natively just import all the materials in your SketchUp model. And I recommend you do that. So I do recommend you still apply, basically you want to apply, if the material is the same on your SketchUp model, apply that material. Now you could just use a color just to denote which is going to be which, because then when you start applying materials, you'll see that, well, I can show you now. So if I go to materials, got a pretty extensive library here. So we got this wood material. This was actually probably was a Vray texture, but obviously we're not in Vray anymore. And you know, it's a wood. So if we go down here, should be able to find wood. Where's wood? Here, wood. And you get all these little kind of thumbnail pop-ups of what it's going to look like. So this is kind of an outdoor cabin. So maybe we try and find something a little bit cabiny. Here we go. This is a bit more like it. Old planks, rough planks, plywood, paneling. That's quite nice. Tree bark. We don't want that, do we? But so look, I'm just going to do old planks, and you'll see what happens when I drag it onto my model. It's going to replace all of that material with planks. So the material that was already applied in my SketchUp model, it's just basically going to override all of that material. But if I undo that, and then if you come up to this little piece here, so this part is actually really important. So take note if you're looking at this right now. You can have these settings when you drag your material on. You can either replace material, you can apply to object, or apply to a selection. So, you know, by default, you're going to have replace material on, or you should do at least. But look, I'll show you what happens when you click apply to object. And so where is that wood again? Old plank. So now if I apply it here, you'll see that it's only applied to that object. So that is one object within SketchUp. So it hasn't kind of overwritten all of your textures. You know, which is good and handy, but yeah, it can get a bit confusing. Apply to selection, I don't actually really use, but let's just turn that on. Let's just see what happens when I do that, actually. Apply to selection, so I select that here in the tree, and then what's this one? Okay, so if I select these two, I've held down Control there on my keyboard to select two of them. And then if I do that, yeah, so that has applied to both of those. That's pretty good. Oh, just edit undoed. Okay, yeah, so that was a different material anyway, so that's fine. So yeah, that's how you do that, and that's kind of like simply where the library is, the materials library. Where it gets better is the vegetation and the humans, like this part of Vray is where it really shines, because you can simulate, you know, traffic, people, you know, quite dense environments pretty quickly, and I'll get onto that next. So actually, before I start adding people and whatnot into the model, I'm going to show you a bit more about the materials. I kind of glossed over that, but yeah, so you've got your material library here. It's pretty good at importing and matching your material from SketchUp. So for whatever you had, so it will recognize glass. So if it's, you know, like it's added a reflective property to this, you can see it's like very reflective. So we didn't need to do that, but yeah, it's very straightforward, to be honest. So like, make sure I've got, let me just do, let's do replace material. Let's just try and find that wood again, a better wood. I didn't mind that rough planks, but maybe it is a bit rough. Maybe we'll do, well, we're paneling. What's paneling? I mean, that's a little bit nicer. Ooh. So yeah, I've just applied that there. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of nice, right? But it's the color's off. We do still want a wood texture. So if you go down here and click on materials, I'm gonna click this, but it might lag out. So bear with me. So I've just clicked that materials tab, and basically all of these materials are the ones imported from SketchUp. So, you know, it's quite good having a clean model in SketchUp and then importing it and then applying your materials, but I haven't done that in this case. So you're gonna see all these materials. So this is gonna include, like, you know, inside here, there's a computer, keyboard, whatnot. So all these materials are down here. So we can adjust them within Twinmotion pretty easily. But what I was gonna show you is the editing capabilities of the material. So if I just click on a material here, we'll get this pop-up window on the right. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward, right? So you got, you know, the basics, grunge, luminosity, tint, and then you can always go into a bit more detail. So say for this one, so this is the UV, so it's pretty quite narrow. So I want to scale this up. So I'm just gonna slide this up, get this way too big, probably like about there. And then we can also rotate it. You know, you can do a cool diagonal thing like that. Roughness is going to be, yeah, obviously how glossy something is, but this is wood, so I should leave it there. And you can add a texture to that. Metallicness, this is kind of a weird one. It gives it like kind of a metal effect. It's quite good when you're doing like anodized materials and metal materials. It's quite good for, yeah, making them look more metal. Normal, that's going to be bump and stuff. Occlusion, this is like, you know, more advanced stuff. Emissive, we can make this emit light, which is handy, obviously not in this case, but you know, if you wanted something to emit light, it's quite easy to do. Opacity, X-ray, misc, two-sided, weather, you know, you've got all of these different things. But yeah, it's all pretty straightforward. Let me see if I can just change the color. Sometimes the color is a bit funny, so we want a wooden texture, a wooden color. I mean, that's quite good. Maybe darker a little bit like that. Hit OK, and that changed the color. Our whole object is still currently floating in the air, so let me move that. So this is the one downside to, I'd say, Twinmotion, is this tree is quite like, it's not that intuitive. I always find myself scrolling to the top to find my like base model and then moving it. You'll see that it can get a little bit confusing in the tree. That's the kind of one thing I'm not entirely happy with. But yeah, so I've clicked that. I've got the move selected up here, and I can actually position my object, you know, more closely to the floor, like so. And then I'm gonna actually change this wood texture to the same wood texture as this. So I'm gonna use a little dropper, and that will select the material down here. And then I can just drag and then apply it to this area. Kind of quite like the diagonal pieces. So then, yeah, we can also edit existing material. So if I click on this material here, so this is this dark gray, which is, I think, the same as the cladding. This is probably a good example of where you'd use that metallicness. So if we up that, it means you just get a bit of shine to it. Annoyingly, the sun is the opposite way. So we can change that if we go, I believe it's up here, click on this little sun icon. Ooh. It's the time of day, so let's just try and get a bit of light on the front of it. So where's that metallicness? Turn it up a bit more. So it just gives it a bit of, well, metallicness really. We can also adjust the roughness, so it's actually, at the moment it was 100% rough, so it's giving no reflection, so we want a bit of reflection, so like that. So that is looking a bit more like aluminium. Yeah, it's worth having a play around, but that's pretty kind of like a quick whistle-stop tour of the materials and how to edit them. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, it's worth having a play. Next I'm going to show you how to like add a few more elements and stuff like that. So I think this is like where Twinmotion does really well. It's these kind of animated humans. Even the static humans are pretty cool, but it basically means you can just populate your model with people pretty easily. So if I just click there, I get a person. I can put another person up here. There's a really good way of kind of bringing your model to life. I know a lot of people don't like animated people for whatever reason. But you can click on them and we can put them in a load of different positions. We can make them lie down. I mean, it's quite cool, isn't it? We can dance. We can do, tons of different things that you can do with these people. Also, we can add these things called paths, which are, I'll show you that in a sec, actually. I'll show you in a sec, I'll wait for that. But yeah, importing people and objects is really easy. So we can just do, say we need a chair here. Just click on it, drag it, place it. It's really straightforward and really easy to use. And they've got a really good library of stuff. Add some plants. And basically everything will kind of snap to the kind of floor geometry, which is quite nice. We can actually turn collisions on. So if you want to move, well, I get out of that. Up here, in this little arrow bit, you've got this thing called collisions. I don't know if it's going to lag out my recording software, but I'll click on that. And what that means is when I'm moving objects, so say like this thing. Oh, okay, sorry, that's a human. You just click on the chair. If I move this, it collides with other objects, so it means you can position things a bit better. So like you can see, it's kind of, as I go up to this other chair, it kind of hits it, which is cool. You can also drop things, which is pretty cool. Like, I don't know, well, SketchUp definitely doesn't do that, but say this chair here, if I float this over these, can't really see where it is. I guess it's, and I'm grabbing on this little surfacing. I find this the best. But then if I click this button here, I believe it should drop it. So check this out. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I can turn that off, turn collisions off, and yeah. But now my chair is on its side, but it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that's how you kind of import through the library. There's tons of things on there. Decorate, it's like a pretty extensive library. So we've got a load of interior stuff. We've got HDR environments as well. This is all pretty self-explanatory. You can just import these directly into your model. You will have to download them, but I'll show you maybe a little bit more of that in a bit. Cars, we can just add a car in here if we want to. Quite cool. We can actually make vehicle paths, so I'm going to show that next. I just want to save this area. What else we've got? User library, characters, tools. So you do have some kind of shape elements as well. And tools, which are, quite useful. We've got animation elements. It's actually, quite an extensive program. Next, I'm probably going to look at paths and the exciting things with vegetation, which is pretty cool. So this is something really cool. If you've got big scenes and you need to populate things with a lot of people, say, you click down to the populate section, and then we can draw a path. So we can do character, bicycle, vehicle, and custom. So these are basically paths where that's something will follow. So I'll just show you a character path. And all I need to do is just draw where I want my people to be walking. So let's just do like a simple kind of loop. And it will automatically populate a load of people on it, which is really cool. And if we go, so if you, again, this furniture tree, this scene tree is a bit difficult, but if you go to path tools, you'll be able to select your character path. And yeah, we can just do all sorts of things, like we can increase the density, increase the width, we can reverse it. So yeah, you can create like a little ant farm of humans walking around, which is pretty cool. And one more thing that I actually haven't showed you is you've got this mode, I don't know what they call it, okay, pedestrian mode. So if I click on this, at the moment I'm in drone mode, so that means I'm kind of orbiting and flying around my model. If I jump into pedestrian mode, you'll see that I'm actually walking. So now if I use my WASD keys, I can actually walk around my scene, and you should be able to hear. there's footsteps. So you can create like a little mini video game in here. So you can walk around your model, check it out. I can't actually get in because that door is locked. Jesus. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can just walk around your model. Again, it's great for like showing clients if you want to, yeah, walk around the model. Essentially, you can do that. And Twinmotion just makes that quite easy to do, you know. And then if I want to get out of that, I'm just going to go up here and then click back on drone mode. I think there is another way to get out of it. But now I'm out of drone mode, and yeah. So those paths, so if I go to populate again, populate, we can do vehicle paths, so we can, you know, just drive cars around it as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna populate it with cars. So it's really good when you're doing big scenes that need a lot of geometry and a lot of moving parts, and especially because you can animate in this, so you can create videos really easily in Twinmotion. Yeah, it's really good to use. We can also populate with vegetation. They call it place. So actually this has changed actually. Since I last used this has changed. This has been a new update. So we can probably paint. So if I go to vegetation, let's find a bush. So if I just drag my bush into here, I should be able to then just paint like this. So yeah, you can just paint bushes, change the diameter. It's pretty cool really, it is really cool. And we can rub it out to create a little path. But yeah, I mean that's pretty amazing really. What else can we do? I mean there's tons of things to explore, it's worth just having a look at all this. I'm not really sure what these are. These are like kind of new. I mean scatter seems obvious, spacing, area. And in urban we can also import real world geometry. So if you've got a location in the city that you want to import, you can import that geometry, which is pretty damn cool. But yeah, that's kind of all of the basics in terms of adding stuff, materials. We can also just, so if you want to, where is our ground? So we can just turn, we want this to be a natural grass, I can just drag and drop it onto here. I was going to kind of try and put this in the forest somewhat, and I might still do that, and then just show some renders and some visuals. Yeah, so I'm going to get onto that section next. I'm going to show you how we can export pretty easily, yeah, and a few camera settings and whatnot. So I've just updated the model a little bit, and I just made it nighttime, chucked a light in here. So the lights are also in the library, and you can adjust all of the, you know, color, intensity, all of that really straight, you know, it's really straightforward. So yeah, if you wanted to export a scene, you go down to media and then you click here. You probably can't see this, it's just under my head, it's a little plus sign, and you can click to create your first image. Above that you've also got the animation window. So if you want to create a video, it's you know, it's all very straightforward. So I'm going to click plus. So this is my scene, so this is what it's currently got. And here we can kind of play with all of these different elements, so we can do time of day. It always does really nice sunsets, this bit of software, so I always tend to put my my renders in a kind of sunset, but I wanted to do a dark one for this one. Weather, you've got a simple weather toggle here. We can make it rain, which is quite nice. Computer might struggle a little bit, but if not, it's yeah, it's pretty cool. We can do snow, you know, and these are like, you know, really well done. Like, look how cool this is. Like, you know, underneath the car, we've got where it hasn't snowed. Really nice. Fog. Don't really use fog, but I assume that is just fog. Yeah, and you can change the orientation of where you are in the world, north, south, offset. HDR, IR environment, we can turn this on, and we can actually download in the library. There's HDRIs that you can download and input into here, but I do use that sometimes, but not always. It's just loading now, don't know what's loading. So that, so yeah, if you click back on your scene, yeah, you'll just get all the info you need. It's worth having a play with this as well. You can enable a horizon. So this is kind of a cityscape. This can be adjusted. So this is like going to be in the very, very background. You can't actually see it because I've put a load of trees in the way. Ocean is similar. And then you go down to your camera settings. You know, it's a pretty comprehensive camera setting area. Focal lengths, it's always good to add depth of field. So we can, if we go to, depth of field, turn that on. Nice bit of blur, so we can pick a focal point. So let's focus on the cabin. Yeah, I mean it's basically your standard kind of you know, rendering program. Camera settings, got bloom, loads of stuff, and then renderer is using that path tracer thing. I won't turn that on now, but when you turn on path tracer, if your computer can handle it, you basically get, yeah, way nicer results. But if I'm recording this right now, it'll probably crash my program. Shadow, and then we've also got effects, so you can add like these filters. I mean, these are quite cool for doing drawings and stuff. You know, blueprint, but they're a bit gimmicky. They're not very like professional. I wish they just had like kind of like a drawing style. They've got this like hidden line, but I mean, it's pretty good. But you get this weird vignette thing that, I mean, you can turn it off, but it's just, I wish this was slightly more professional and practical, because these are a bit like, I mean, they are cool. So yeah, the lines is quite nice. Yeah, so that's filters. Color grading is just color grading. I'm gonna turn this off. Ooh. Click on that. None. And then image is gonna be your size, so your output. So you can change full HD, you can change that into whatever. So we can do, you know, higher res. And then if you wanna, so basically if you are in your model, I'll go back into my model. So say if I wanna do a new scene from up here, get a bit of depth of field on that tree that I've added. So like that. I just basically click plus, and that will add a new scene, and then we can do the same thing. We can go through all of the adjustments, and then if you click on a scene, it will zoom you back to your existing scene. So it's pretty good. And then the video animation is, I'm not going to get into that, but it's again very straightforward. It's just like doing keyframes between two cameras, and then you can basically yeah, flow between them. I might do a video on that, so if you are interested in like looking at how to animate in Twinmotion, let me know and I will show you. And yeah, that's it really. And then when you want to export, you click export, you select your images on here, so we want these two, and then we will click start export, and it will just tell you where you want to save it. It's pretty basic and pretty straightforward. But yeah, overall it's a really good program. It's really good because it's fast. You know, I'm not having to click render to see what everything looks like. It's like instantaneous. Good for getting quick concepts down, importing from your other 3D programs. Just want to get a feel for it. Now, like I haven't really pushed it on, say, interior renders, but I think yeah, you can do some really nice stuff with it. And you can see, you know, from the example projects on the homepage, you can see what people have produced. And there's plenty of, you know, online, you'll see loads of stuff. So overall, it is a really good bit of software. There's also like VR within this, so you can set up VR renders, all sorts of things like that. But I guess that's kind of it. That's kind of like my brief covering of Twinmotion. I've showed you like the materials, how to edit them, exporting scenes, a bit of lighting. Yeah, it's all pretty basic and pretty straightforward. I just recommend having a play, see what you like. But yeah, I 100% recommend this program. It's really good. You get really nice visuals quickly. Yeah, so yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to, and if you've got any questions about SketchUp or Vray or Twinmotion now, please let me know below. And if you want to see any other videos on anything else, also let me know, and I will definitely get to making it. I'm trying to make more videos here. Otherwise, that's it, I guess. Have a good day wherever you are, and I'll see you soon. Peace.